I think I'm like using this microphone. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. I will check the questions on my laptop right here. So good to see you guys. I don't think, when was the last time I did live? It's a long time ago, I feel like. I always miss you guys so much. Hi. Hi Nicole, hi Kylie. Thank you for joining today. It's happy Monday, everyone. Let's see. Oh, from Dallas. So today's, before I go to what we're gonna talk about today, I would just miss you guys so much, so I want to join today. Hi everyone. Oh my god, you're from Canada, England, Germany, Southern USA, Brazil, wow, Poland. We have the most international community joining here today. So today was just topic with how to deal with North Korea. It's a main theme. We don't have to talk about that if you don't want it. We can talk about something completely different thing. But I thought it might be a good timing for us to be aware, because it felt like the US was lacking strategy how to deal with North Korea, since they have failed to solve this state for the last 80 years. And that's the main theme, so you can keep it in mind, but I'm happy to talk about anything, guys. Thank you so much for your support. And oh my god, from Australia, I miss all of those places. So the first question was, Libby, is that how I say name? Do you think Biden will listen to Kim Jong-un's and his sister's warning? So, right, that is very related to today's topic. Recently, Kim Yo-jong gave a chilling warning to Biden, saying, if you wanna sleep peacefully at night, you gotta behave yourself, don't cause any stink. And I just cannot even imagine the North Korea is bullying America, and America just puts up with it. And of course, after that, Biden's response was unbelievably weak, and it was really shocking to see that. So before I start, guys, today, I know that I'm not like here to endorse any politician or criticize somebody. I think everyone is capable of doing something right and doing something wrong. And therefore, we are gonna talk about Trump and Biden when it comes to North Korean policy. So I never agree with the people, those people saying Trump can never do right, or those people Trump can never do wrong. It's just so sickening to see America right now, this utter tribalism where people cannot ever see things, like single them out as a policy. So when I will definitely talk about how Trump did make a mistake. One thing that he did right was when he realized that Kim Jong-un had no intention of giving up nukes, he walked out at the Hanoi summit. That was incredible. But other than everything else that he did was really not okay with North Korea. And with Biden right now, even though Biden was saying you cannot have a diplomacy with a dictator, but Biden has been showing a lot of interest to show having a diplomatic relationship with North Korea. And he's been reaching out to North Korea for the last couple of months, and he's been ignored by Kim Jong-un. Poor Biden, I feel so bad for him. He cannot but hear from North Korea, the tiniest country. And so I think what I see is that Biden is gonna be not that tough on North Korea. And we don't know, it's too early to judge, but based on what Biden has been doing, it has been basically the same things that Trump did. But I guess Trump was more frank when it comes to his rhetoric. Do you remember when the Trump came into power, 2016, North Korea was testing ICBM, the short-range missile, the middle-range missile, the long-range missile. They tested so many different missiles, and it made Trump to say, call Kim Jong-un a rocket man at the UN, and then Trump said like we might go to war with North Korea. And once North Korea got Trump's attention, then North Korea wanted to have a conversation with Trump. And right now, Kim Jong-un is playing the same playbook, exact same playbook that his father played. Every new administration comes in the US, Kim Jong-un follows the same thing, same steps. Now Kim Jong-un is in the state of we're doing so many tests to get attention from Biden. And then once that happens, and North Korea gonna be saying, okay, now I'm here to talk, have a conversation, let's make the world peaceful again. Once that happens, Biden is gonna be so thankful. Oh my God, you're finally willing to talk to me, Kim Jong-un. Biden is gonna be so happy to hear from Kim Jong-un once that happens, after all that threat passes. Then who has a higher leverage? Of course, Kim Jong-un has. That's when Kim Jong-un is gonna ask concession from the Biden without getting rid of nukes. What Kim Jong-un wants right now is getting rid of sanctions, and second is getting economic aid for his regime. And of course, like right now, Biden, even though he was criticizing Trump to have a diplomatic relationship with Kim Jong-un, he wants the exact same thing, but he cannot even hear from Kim Jong-un. So it's such an ironic situation that I see, and this like the American government with the best intelligence gets so played by Kim Jong-un like a toy. It is laughable. So that was like background. So I'm here to talk and discuss anything today. So let me answer some questions, guys. Let's see. Oh my God, questions are going up so fast. How many people die? So Linda asked, how many people die trying to escape a year? It's impossible to know. I'm so amazed that when the America like talk about their southern border, they talk about how many were people trying to reach the USA, all of that statistics. But if there is any official statistic, that means those people gonna be all get killed in North Korean terms. So there is no way knowing what's going on. There has been estimate between, most conservatively say, 50,000 to 300,000 of defectors in China hiding. More like common sense is like around 200,000 to 300,000. That many people are hiding in China from North Korea. Most of them be bought by like human traffickers being sold. But we don't actually know how many people exactly getting killed every single day while they're trying to escape. So Lillian, what would you do if you were president? I mean, which country, North Korea or the USA? Well, it's if I were not the president, if I had the power to advise the president of the USA, I think they should be understanding their foreign policy has been so disastrous because their incentive was always being re-elected. This is like, of course, I am not like supporting any, like the U.S. Constitution is a very durable document, and the checks and balances in these countries are incredible. There are so many good things, but we also have to understand there are some downsides, like the terms, right? We should have terms because we cannot have dictator. But the thing is that North Korea knows that what they have doesn't have, the US government doesn't have it. So Kim Jong-un has all the time in the world to figure out what he's gonna do with other countries when it comes to foreign policy. But the only thing that I see is very unthinkable is that the US, every president comes with a different policy, right? When Biden comes, he begins drafting his policy towards North Korea. By the time when he's done with the president, his policy is complete and then he can never implement it. So as long as North Korea playing like do this nuclear weapon test and then get the US attention, and then even last time they can like blow up some like fake nuclear test site, and then buying some time, then what happens? Trump goes away and Biden comes. And if North Korea does the same playbook with Biden, what happens? They keep building their capability that can actually threat the USA, and then the US can never do any harm in the dictatorship. So I think this is why the foreign policy takes a very long-term goal. But the US government and the politicians, their interest is not the long-term for the country, but their future goal is getting them re-elected. Whatever popular at the moment, they're gonna do that. And I think this is why it's been such a bad thing for the country, the USA, to having this kind of mindset in our politicians. So, hi Andrew, thank you so much. If you could have voted in 2020 election, would you have voted for Trump or Biden, and why? Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I love you guys, and I do my best not to censor myself because that's not why I escaped for. I have lived my last 5 years as a public figure, trying to be politically correct and please people, but that wasn't my truth. And the thing is that even if what I say today can be so ridiculous, I was wrong, and I have a right to change my mind in 10 years because every human being should evolve and learn things. But also we all have a right to express our thoughts. So in 2020, if I go back, it's very difficult. Like the things that the threat of China is incredible, and right now, guys, like another Cold War began or starting again. After Alaska meeting between the US and China, of course, China was criticizing America for having a human rights abuses about the Black Lives Matter, right? And then they were saying like, you have no right to tell us what we do with our Tibetans and Uyghurs, starting concentration camp. America, you have no right to tell us what to do. After that meeting, China went to Russia, and then North Korea and some other Middle Eastern countries solidifying their alliance. And then China promised to give Kim Jong-un so much aid and economic help for Kim Jong-un to testing more missiles to threat the USA. So after that meeting, Kim Jong-un got the okay sign. Actually, Kim Jong-un might have even gone collapsing this time if China didn't help out. There was a lot of uprising inside North Korea this time, the lockdown. The COVID could potentially change North Korean future, but of course, every single time the last minute China comes out and help out Kim Jong-un. So Kim Jong-un now started building this 10,000 houses building in Pyongyang, and then surrounding area 50,000 houses. So what he does is that, this is the thing people don't get. When government gives you something free, there is a reason why you are getting something for free. This is what I didn't understand after born in the communist country. Nothing is free in this world. Literally, love is free. Yeah, that is the thing. Other than that, nothing is free. So when government say, I'm gonna give you this housing for free, it's not free. It can never be free. Somebody gotta make the work, create that resource. Nothing comes out of nowhere. Money doesn't come from the sky, right? It doesn't. Bread doesn't come from the sky. Somebody gotta pay for the price for it. And when government steals money and then give you something for free, and there is usually a reason. Right now, Kim Jong-un promised to build 10,000 houses in Pyongyang and then another 50,000 houses surrounding Pyongyang to make the people to content again. And also mobilize them so they are busy building things and thinking about how wonderful our country that building these houses for us and distracting them. So Kim Jong-un can do his thing. So now the huge construction began in the middle of COVID right now, last week. And that money came from, of course, China. And so now China, what they understand is that North Korea is the only thing is that they can bargain with America. So if now, right now, North Korea, now just they did a short-range missile, but I guarantee you North Korea do another mid-range and long-range and ICBM test. Once that happens, of course, Americans are gonna freak out. Like North Korea capability is getting so high. Like we need to stop Kim Jong-un. Then, of course, as a president of America, their achievement a lot of times just sitting down with a dictator, right? Just having a conversation is like achievement in this age of people who are so afraid of any other than that. And then for doing that, of course, now Biden has talked to Xi Jinping. Then Xi Jinping can use North Korea as an excuse, like, okay, we can help you to convince North Korea to stop all those tests, but then can you not poking us with the human rights issues that we have in our country? So this is why China is right now encouraging North Korea have all these tests and supporting it and giving money, everything they can to North Korea to keep threatening the US because they are gonna get American concession through North Korea. So, so in that situation, Trump was right when he talked about China and how he wanted to deal with it. But the thing is, when it comes to North Korea, Trump definitely didn't do anything when it comes to human rights at all. So it's really the simple question is really not easy who I have voted. And maybe it was a good thing that I didn't have to vote because I did not know the answer. So let's see, Christopher, thank you. First, short of a massive war, the only way North Korea can be liberated is from within. It seems like it's getting closer to happening. What do you think? It was getting closer to happening. The revolution happens in North Korea, but not anymore because now regime is giving them free housing again. To the elites. And now the regime promised to get tons of free aids from China in the April 1st. In a few days, tons of free things are gonna go from China to North Korea. And that is price of freedom. They give free things, with their dignity. They are trading with their dignity and freedom and their life, getting something free from the government. And this is why we should never obsess with the free stuff. It's that people really don't get it. All this country keep talking about free stuff that we need to receive from government. It's not free. Nothing is free. And I don't know why people don't get this. And of course, North Koreans don't know anything better, so I cannot blame them. But now, of course, Kim Jong-un is gonna, because people were so discontent, and now he's like a child, giving them some lollipops and telling them, okay, I'm gonna be good, be okay with this. So this is why North Korea lasted, guys, almost 80 years. This is unbelievable. Just thank you so much, Roger D. Forrest. Thank you. Let's see. Then there's a Brad. Hey, Brad, thank you. You're so wise. Thank you for being a voice of reason and continue to. You're so kind. Thank you, Brad. Good to see you. 감사합니다, 일성님. 네, 한국 가서 꼭 갈게요. So, do you fear assassination? Borbat78 asked. Of course I do fear assassination. It's you guys saw, I keep talking about this Jamal Khashoggi, the Saudi journalist, when he was chopped off and became a dust in Saudi council in Turkey. And seeing the US government, because Saudi was their ally, wouldn't stand up. Even Jamal was a Washington Post journalist. Jeff Bezos wouldn't do things about it. And I know how the world is so corrupt. And even though it's a delusion, the government keeps saying our world is justice and things are not corrupt. It is corrupt. And if I get killed, of course, I might make the news a few times, but there will be never consequences of killing any decent right now in this our world. But that does not mean what I'm doing. I always try to believe that life is a gamble, right? I could have hit by a car, literally. So if I'm going to live only once in life, I am trying to live that life make it meaningful. And without meaning, life become very bitter and hard. So almost I'm grateful that I got some kind of this mission that drives me every single day and gets me up out of my bed, not thinking about what I went through, but instead it really helps me and inspires me. So I feel so blessed to have that calling. And so yeah, it's not like I'm being reckless. I know the dangers, but the thing is it's not like I'm worrying about it. When the South is going after their distance, they literally go after everybody that this distance that I love you too. This is how evil these dictators are. Anybody who said to them I love you, they arrest them all and torture them. So what I have to more worry about is anyone that I love, I care about, they can be in danger because of what I do. And this is something always makes me cannot fall asleep at night. And I have to answer some more questions, and let's go to talk about something new developments. So Gabrielle, I'm a college dropout. I couldn't adapt. Your mother is chemist, right? Did she meet any colleague that dropped out? What happens when students quit college? So she studied chemistry in university, but in North Korea, dropping out is not an option. It's when you go to college, it's not like you choose to go either. Your government tells you, and when you choose your major, it's not like you choose what to study. They choose the major for you. So those kind of choices are not in our hands. When I came to America, kids were saying, okay, I'm gonna take a gap year before I go to university. And so you have the right to do that. In North Korea, you are gonna be punished if you don't go to work. I mean, when people say oh, we have so many homeless problems in America, it is a problem, it breaks my heart. But the thing is, the fact that people have a right to be homeless, that is a privilege. When people talk about privilege, right, in America, I mean, of course, every single thing is a privilege, but even the fact that you can be homeless, you have that freedom to be homeless, that is an unthinkable luxury for me. Okay. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. Okay, for a second I thought what? So therefore it's not an option for people to do that. And the other question was, sorry, I'm not good at answering questions quickly. Derek, thank you so much. Do you think the EU Commission would be a good administration to counter Kim? The EU, I do think that European countries have more interest in human rights issues than Americans do. I think when it comes to individuals, Americans care about human rights too. But when it comes to the institution, the government, the US government, only thing they are interested in is the denuclearization of the regime. They don't care about the human rights. But I see when it comes to rhetoric, when it comes to European countries, they do talk about the human rights and human lives a bit more than the US does. And maybe if I try to give a benefit of that, maybe it's because North Korea always threatened the US with their nuclear weapons, not the European countries. That is why the US is way more obsessed with the nukes than the human rights. But I hope that it's, as a human, if you don't care about human rights, right, who will care about it? So I really hope the US, keep trying to talk about human rights as well, and that is my hope. And that is also the point where I couldn't stand that Trump was not bringing any human rights issue to Kim Jong-un. And of course, we can talk about why he did that, but the thing is, it was just shocking that he had a once-in-a-lifetime sitting down with the dictator of North Korea. He could have talked to him. Abusing human rights is a serious, serious crime. You cannot do that. But he didn't take a chance to talk to Kim Jong-un about it. So that is why I wasn't very happy about it. So Alicia, Hi from Australia and me. Just finished reading your book and was really moved by your story. What's the best way for us to help North Korean people? Oh, thank you so much for reading the book, guys. And Alicia, the best way to help North Korean people is, I guess it's a very complicated answer that based on where you are, what you do, the one main thing is really raising awareness. So the politicians understand that what is happening to North Korean people. The second is get involved with a lot of non-profits that does rescue mission, that does get information inside North Korea. So, North Korea has been here almost 80 years. It's gonna take a lot of longer time to combating that. So it's gonna be a gradual process, but when the change happens, it's gonna be just one sudden change is gonna happen. Like when the Soviet Union fell. It felt like it was not falling forever, but it happened. So I think that's the thing, main thing is that we have to keep hopeful, and also, helping the raising awareness, and also, to getting involved in real action with the nonprofits. Let's see. So thank you so much, Emma. Here. Okay, so I am gonna this what? Sorry guys about these trolls. I try not to block them because I keep saying I try to not to create a safe space for me, so I know what the real world feels like. So sorry about all these unpleasant trolls comments, but I love you all. Even your trolls, it's like you should have a better life than that. So Exceller series. So do you believe in trust in that Jesus Christ died and rose from death for you and the whole world? I will definitely answer that question. If you read my book, I was rescued by missionaries in China, and my price of being rescued was actually becoming a Christian. It was an irony for me a long time that why North Koreans have to keep believing in something with our life so we can be safe, right? In China, in North Korea, if you don't believe in Kims as gods, you're gonna be executed. And then we escaped that regime, and then we go to China. When they were rescuing us, the price was being Jesus believer. It definitely gave me a hard time to why would they do that, Why couldn't they just help somebody without any condition? But I took a lot of time to think about it, and I did my best to become a Christian because that's what I promised to those missionaries. That was a promise, right? They were saying, okay, I'm gonna rescue you, I'm gonna help you, but do you promise that you're gonna be working for God's mission for the rest of your life? And I said yes. And I didn't lie at the time in China. I literally became a believer. But the thing is, when you are desperate, when you are fighting for your life, you can believe in air, you can believe in rocks, you can believe in literally anything. That's how strong in humanity that the will to survive is that strong. So it's really, truly, honestly, I did become a believer for that short amount of time in China. But of course, when I went to South Korea, I couldn't believe it. If God exists, why? How on earth is he allowing people to suffer like this? If he knows everything happening, how can he have a heart to let this happen, right? I had this huge battle within me about being Christian, but now is that I didn't have that fortune to become a believer. I didn't ever, it clicked with me. But the thing is, I am grateful at this point to those Christians, even though they were telling me that I was a sinner because I became sold, I was raped, and I was working in those chat rooms to survive. And they told me that I was dirty, I was a sinner for that. But the thing is, no matter what, they still saved me. And that is better than the people talking about how inclusive they are, how open-minded they are. It is a thing. It is a completely different thing. You can talk about all those flowery words, saying how wonderful person you are. But the thing is, when it comes to action, these Christians were actually risking their life to save us. And I guess I was too young to even understand that these people were true believers and they cared about human lives. So after our rescue, a lot of the missionaries who helped me to send to prison in China for like 20, 30 years life sentence, I am grateful for them, and I feel sorry that I didn't become a believer. Like, I have tried, I have did the missionaries work, I have tried to read the Bible as much as I could, but just that blessing never came to me. But the thing is, I am spiritual. I do believe in there's a higher power. And of course, most of things in life we don't understand. It's so complicated. So it humbles me every single day, know that how much I don't know, and also how much good there is. And also don't buying into those flowery words of people who keep saying like what a wonderful people they are. And when it comes to real action, like there is nothing from them. So yeah, so that's my story with my Christianity. And so Sarma Kazumi, is that right? Hey Yeonmi, I finally read your book. That was so inspiring and difficult to read. What do you think about teaching religion to children? I do teach my son religion. For a long time, I said I was atheist. I was saying, I was used to believe like, oh, religion killed more people with the religious war. And every religion has problems, and some religion has more problems than other religion. Religion is not people, it's ideology. That is why sometimes it can be good and it can be bad, right? It's like when you attack a religion, what I confused about when I came to West is that if you talk about like Muslim, they somehow think you are like attacking the people of color. Like, no, Muslim, like there are tons of white people that I met, like they were Muslim. It's not a people, it's like a lot of people in that region believing it, but it's an ideology. Christianity too, like in South Korea, it was the most country that adopted Christianity, while they're themselves being yellow Asian people, not being a white people. So, but the thing is why as I'm getting older, inclining to religion is that when you believe in nothing, right, you can't believe in anything. And that is a quite scary thing. I want my son to believe in something. I don't want him to believe in anything. So I think that's what I see, the complete chaos in pursuing meaningful life and morality in here right now in America. That's so much chaos is happening is because we had a religion to control us in a bad way or the good way, right? But now people, when we're losing religion, we have to find some alternative, but I think we haven't figured it out. We are in a transition to it. I'm not saying that without religion you cannot have a meaningful life. There are so many people who can, but you gotta be thoughtful about it. You gotta put a lot of thoughts in it, right? When there's a clear guideline, like 10 Amendments in Bible, right? You know what you should do, what you should not. And something has been tested for 1,000 years. There's a reason why it was survived for that long. That's why traditions, I believe in traditions. Some traditions are bad, it doesn't applicable, but a lot of them I still respect. So for that reason, just you gotta question everything. And that's why I used to be like so anti-religion, but now I'm not. And the thing that's the beauty is that you can be flexible and you can be always open-minded. And that's what I'm trying to do with myself. Like, because I don't know answer for everything, all I can be is I know that I don't know anything and keep humble, just smiling myself and keep learning new things and being open-minded and change accordingly as the time passes. But somehow they expect you to figure out every single thing when you're a public figure, and you should never ever change your mind on anything. And this is what I feel like very problematic right now in this country. So that was a long answer to your question. And let's see. So Brad asked, what do you think about people pointing North Korea as a good place? Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a everyday life. Like, even in this live chat right now, like there are so many people saying, well, America is a better place than, like, I mean, North Korea is a better place than America. So many people worshiping Kim's. I mean, socialism, Marxism, communism, Maoism. Mao, who killed more human beings than anyone did in human history. Like Mao killed almost like 50 million human beings. When people are obsessed about like white men killing people of color, like no, the numbers are clear. Communism killed more people than any white man did. But this is not something universal truth somehow. People don't understand. And the problem is that right now in education system in the West, kids don't learn about this stuff, right? They talk about how horrible white men were, but they don't talk about how horrible communists were to other human beings. And even the US, the education became a propaganda tool to make children not to question. And this is shocking because in North Korea, the point of like your education is you have no ability to think and question it. Now in America, we are doing the same exact thing to the people. Our children, that when they go, talking about not offending anyone, talking about a safe space, talking about respectfulness. Therefore, you cannot even question anything. So what is the point of education? Brainwashing, propaganda. And that is why, like now I see in America, people don't even know the most basic stuff. And yeah, this is really like the time that I didn't expect the free world to be this way. And there is so much resemblance that I see right now in America and North Korea. And people, like when they think this is okay, this is not, because we know the end road is North Korea. Like I was keep talking about God, right guys? At some point I thought, okay, if there is a God, and if there is a reason for everything, maybe God left North Korea for all humanity to see. This is what happens when you kill your critical thinking skill, when you people make people to become slaves, when they give up your rights and your dignity for free stuff, handouts from government. This is what happens to you eventually. And maybe that's why God left North Korea that way, for all of us to see. This is an actual possibility that humanity can live like 1984 by George Orwell. Otherwise, it makes no sense why North Korea exists, why God left North Korea that way for this long. So I really hope that people understand, like North Korea, like it's not because of people in North Korea are dumb, stupid people who is not brave, like all cowards. It's just because the steps they took, our parents took, brought us to this place. And it can happen right now. Like the president get banned on social media, right? Like literally, if we keep silence, who knows what can happen to us? What is the ending of this insanity that we are in right now? Nobody knows. I mean, that is a scary thing, because nobody knows anything is possible. We haven't gone on this route in America of censoring each other and killing critical thinking skill in school. And I don't know what those generations are gonna do with our country when they grow up and they going in the working force. What are they gonna do? All their life was brainwashing and propaganda. And propaganda took decades, right? In North Korea, it took decades of brainwashing us. And it doesn't go away in one day. It takes generation and generation and generation to de-brainwashing people. So we've been doing the brainwashing in America. I don't know. When I came here, this country was like this. I don't know. You should know. You guys should know like how long you've been doing this thing. And we will know how many years we have to de-brainwashing to go back to the original place. So, yeah. So Priscilla, what are your thoughts on the current hate crime against Asian Americans? How do you think we should deal with this? Thank you for all you do. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry that I'm not like politically correct, because I was actually aware of a hate crime against Asian people way before this shooting by a white man in Georgia. Actually, there was this article in New York Times about most of crimes against Asian people is not done by white people. By a lot of them were actually African Americans. I'm gonna say it, like, and I'm not saying African Americans are bad in any way. There are bad people in every race, and my point is not seeing the color. So, and now because this time the people who killed Asian people were white guys this time, now suddenly entire narrative is again about white men killing the people of color. This is why I didn't make that those hate is a virus or the politically correct thing to do. I'm not buying into that. I was way more concerned about this way before that happened. I mean, do you remember even a few years ago at the United Airlines with the Vietnamese doctor and he was refused to get off the airport? They were beating him up in the airport. He was bleeding. It wasn't, Asian crime wasn't something happened just last month. It was there, it's been increasing. Especially during the lockdown, it has been gone. During the lootings, guys, in Chicago, I was right here. How many stores were, the Korean owner, the Asian owner stores burned by those looters? They were not white people. And when that happened, of course, the media is completely silent. Hate crime can be done by any race. And when the media focusing on color, that's when I cannot stand, because now it becomes a different thing. It doesn't just become genuine thing that every humans are the same, that we gotta be equal to every single person. It doesn't come up by unity, but instead when you're pointing on the finger, it is becoming pursuing, victimizing somebody, and also making some group or enemy, right? It doesn't unite us in any sense to do that. So I am concerned about crimes against Asian people, and actually if you follow me since last year, guys, I was one of the victims of that last summer in the Michigan Avenue in Chicago, when these 3 African American girls punching me on my chest, taking my wallet, and then all these people on the street calling me that I'm a racist because I was robbed by these African American girls and called the police, and of course they got footage, everything, and in Chicago they are not gonna prosecute for the violent crime, and it was also a hate crime. I have seen in my eyes what it feels like to be punched and not seen and be manipulated. But the thing is, white man is not the problem when it comes to hate Asian crime. They are not. It's way more complicated than that. So I am with the Asian people. I am with every people. But right now the rhetoric is so concerning that, if the answer to Asian hate crime is the white people, that is not the real solution. That is not gonna solve anything. And so I don't know, it's, but the thing is that I understand every country has problems. In Asia, in Korea, South Korea, very homogeneous country, they still kill each other. Not because they're racist, just they're bad people. I just hope that America is done being crazy, done being this much stupid and insane and becoming just so unbelievable. Logic doesn't make any sense anymore. And just move on and talking about real issues. And of course, hate against Asians are a real issue, but their solution that they're talking about, how they're narrating, is not the real problem. So that is definitely my take on it. So gotcha. As I say, thank you for your hard work. You're a truly amazing person, and I feel thank you so much for that. Thank you. Oh my God, you're from Russia. Thank you very much. So as you can see, guys, this many trolls and people here right now defending this most evil regime that you can think of. And yeah, the world is it's a hard place, but the thing is, nobody said life is easy, and nobody said being free is easy. This is a price that we are paying to be. with people that we disagree. And this is exactly why I'm not like blocking any trolleys in this chat right now, because this is the real world that we should be aiming to be, you know. Making people strong isn't about protecting all the negativity there and keeping them not offended ever, right? So I'm keep testing on myself, like, can I ever be offended or not? But so far I cannot be offended no matter what the trolleys say. It can never get to me. So Mary, thank you so much. I hope too. Thank you. Just, oh my gosh, Spatar, Shiza, good to see you. Could you tell us about Jute? It is a religion. Is it a religion? So Jute is an ideology that North Korean regime holds on to. Jute means self-reliance. So you become, even though in the socialist system, the regime should be providing you everything because you live for the party, you live for the revolution. Like in America right now, when we are born, we live for ourselves, our individual self, right? I go to the gym to be healthy for myself. I work, I make money for myself. But in socialists, you don't live for yourself. You live for the revolution. You live for the entire community, collectivism. That's what it is. That's why North Korea even not letting people use the word I, because I means I. Nobody in North Korea allowed to represent themselves. They all have to represent bigger we. So in that scenario, and then in the 90s, it made no sense because the regime couldn't provide things for the people anymore. They ran out of money. So what they do, they came up with this religion, told the people, even though we are socialists, we began with the communism, now we're gonna go to this direction of being self-reliant. So even though regime now not gonna provide you anything in this system, you gotta be self-reliant to survive yourself and helping the revolution and the party and the country. So that is the most condensed version of Juche ideology. And also, of course, it's more than that, to make the Juche ideology spread all around the world. Like every religion, right? Their goal is spreading to whole humanity and make them all have the same belief system. And there are so many Juche ideologists so in many countries, and they are the defenders of this dictatorship in the forefront. So you will be surprised like how many people are practicing this ideology, which goes right against like Christianity, a lot of other peaceful religion, because they do not accept any religion. They want to persecute every religion other than Juche ideology. So, you know, it is like extremist, like another religion or form that want to kill other people believing in something else. Like if you believe in freedom, individual liberty, Jesus Christ, or like Buddha or anything, they don't like it, they're gonna kill you, and you gotta conform to their own way. So it's exactly like the North Korea has a religion and controlling people, and it's a very extreme version of it. They do not accept other religion in any regard. So I see Wes second. Love your girl. Love loud voice from a little lady. Keep up the good work and speak your mind. There are too many trying to be politically correct, and it is great that public figures. Thank you so much. I can be completely making no sense. I can be very wrong, and I have a right to be wrong. But the thing is, right, like who has any answer to the final solution? Nobody does. And by us having a space to each other to express their thoughts, even though they can be offensive, they can be hateful, they can be wrong, but everybody should have a place to safely speak their minds, then our ideas are gonna compete with each other. That's how we select the best idea at the end. And this is why the democracy is wonderful. That's why we have so much achieved in this system where people were able to compete with their ideas. But in socialists, like in North Korea, right, like if you have different idea, you're gonna get killed. You can never compete with your ideas. And now the fact that in America, because of in the sake of inclusivity and safe space, we are gonna kill the critical thinking and the freedom of speech. this like reverses our humanity that what we have achieved for how many generations of decades, centuries of work. It's gonna destroy all of us when we do that. So Simanian Blue has said, so as a mixed race person, I had to call out and block some of my black relatives due to their Asian racism. The divide between the two communities is ridiculous and needs to end. This was last year, by the way. Yes, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I love, guys, I don't know, it is so bizarre that I have to keep saying like I love African Americans, and of course I love them. Like, I mean, even though of course like I don't like some people because not because they're race, it's their character, maybe it doesn't align with mine. And the thing is that there are people who hate Asians even among white people. Among Asians, we hate Asian people. Seriously, guys, that's a so norm. But why when white people hate other like race becomes so problem? Because Asians kill each other. Black people kill each other, like that's a thing. Why can we not drop this narrative of keep demonizing white people? Of course, white people done the slavery. That was the worst thing, I understand it. But the slavery wasn't something happened only in America. I'm not legitimizing it at all. It was a bad thing. It was a horrible thing. And they are saying they know it was a bad thing. And look at Japan, like they colonized South Korea, made us like comfort women, and they still say they made us civilized. They never apologize to it. And the thing is like it's okay, but I don't call the Japanese children right now like you're a bad person because your ancestors raped us. Like I did a genetic testing, guys, and I have something only 50% Korean and like something about 30% like Japanese blood. Of course, like a lot of my ancestors were raped by Japanese. But it's not their crime what their great parents did, right? So that's all I'm saying is like, of course, white people can be terrorists. They can be like hating Asians. They can hate like black people. They can hate all of them, like every human does. And just the standard that America right now has with demonizing white men, this is like sickening. This is unbelievable. This is not right. They have rights. They have. As a human rights activist, I cannot sit here like just looking at these people being marginalized and being attacked in a very unjust like way. And this is why I'm only doing this. It's not because I think white men never can do wrong. Every human can do wrong. Every human can do wrong and every human can do right. And that's a complexity of being a human. Like there's never complete anger and there's never complete evil. In most of cases, other than Kim Jong-un, I think Kim Jong-un is complete evil. I'm sorry, but he is. Let's see. Oh my gosh, my internet is off today. Oh my god, Joe Bezil, really? Oh my gosh, please. I'm sure it's like, Saptarshi, is that right? Watching Lee Chun-hee out of curiosity. Why do North Korea TV presenters speak so immediately, right? Also, why we're humble on TV if communism is against tradition? Thank you for your question. So North Korean anchors, right? They look so furious and very dramatic tone of voice, and right, they use like more like daughters to Trump, like old prick, something like a lot of offensive words that we wouldn't use on TV here. I think the reason why they do is that they have been very isolated. The country hasn't gone through civilization as much as like the people here in the West and the South Korea been mingling with each other and try to be more like globalized. And North Korea are still not in any following common sense. And they are using the same rhetoric they are using to North Koreans to like propaganda and like brainwashing us. And also wearing hanbok is an interesting question, right? North Korea is about killing all the tradition and all about the other religion and coming up with an entire new sets of rules, right? Communism. And the thing is, North Korea still somehow finding the connection that they believe that they are the true Korea. That's why they don't say they are, so in South Korea they call themselves like 대한민국. In North Korea they call themselves the Joseon, the first name that Korean kingdom had. And because of they keep trying to make that story where why they are the legitimate Korea, not the South Korea, and trying to connect with their ancestors, their core. I think that's why. But also wearing a hanbok is that the Western clothes, they don't want to wear the Western clothes. They think it's like a symbol of capitalism. And hanbok is like you're still way more conservative. And because of that, because like what's the alternative? If they don't let them wear hanbok, they gotta wear Western clothes. But they don't want that. What's worse? Wearing the Korean old tradition clothes or the Western made clothes, right? Wearing pants is from the West, right? Like women in Asia never wear the pants before. And that's why in Pyongyang, like women still banned to wear pants. Because women wearing pants give them way more freedom than wearing like skirt. So they don't let women wear pants in Pyongyang. That is how crazy this country is, like over controlling people. So I think that's why they just couldn't find a better alternative than hanbok at this point. Sorry. Okay, so hi Tony, so good to see you. I know this sounds strange since we know there are those who purchase North Korea women in China. Do you think it would be possible to simply use funds to pay a fake broker to buy many into freedom? Well, you don't even have to buy them. There is a organization that I'm on the board and I work with. We have an operation in China. We rescue them. All we need is like $2,000 to transport them. So $2,000 costs like spend on feeding them, their clothes and their tickets, through transportation from China through the third country, through like Vietnam or Laos and Thailand. So now, of course, it sounds about thinking about it. $2,000 is huge money, but literally, people go buy a business class for that ticket, like one way to somewhere, for their one vacation, one of the many vacations they're gonna ever have in here. Or like some of my friends have these fancy handbags cost more than $2,000. But if you have $2,000, you can save me, like hundreds of me. And that's the thing, like when people say, oh, there's nothing can be done about North Korea, no, there are tons you can do. And one of them is rescuing. You don't even have to buy them. Like we have the network underground. I cannot fully disclose how we do it because we gotta keep them in a security. But we know where they are. These women, we know where they are. And then we have the shelters they can come and rest, and then we take them journey to be free. So if you guys ever want to be involved, look up my video that I did how to free and how to help North Koreans. And in that video detail section, there are so many NGO links that does this kind of work. Akian, so how do you see how North Korea will die from within? Just wanted to say that Jesus loves you and he has a path set for you. Thank you. Favorite Korean food. So how North Korea regime gonna crumble within, right? Well, I have to be an optimist, right? I have to. With the Chinese support, if we do not cut China support sponsoring Kim Jong-un, it's gonna be very, very, very hard for the regime to crumble within. Because imagine if there's a revolution, Kim Jong-un can just like nuke even their own people, right? Like using a missile to kill own people. Kim Jong-un is never afraid to use machine guns to kill her own people. So why do you think there's no Nelson Mandela in North Korea? Why there's no Martin Luther King Jr. of North Korea? Because even though the countries when the Martin Luther King Jr. was alive or Nelson Mandela was alive, the countries were unjust, but not in the degree of North Korea. Because North Korea have a zero tolerance for dissent, for anybody who have different idea. They kill them right up to 8 generations of family if you do it, and they do it. So that's why there is no Nelson Mandela of North Korea. Not because people cannot just are not brave enough. The regime never let them be alive. Like if it was like somebody like Nelson Mandela alive in North Korea, they wouldn't be just sent to jail and have a court and hearing. They will be just executed on the spot with a fire squad, with like 8 generations of family. And that is why it's impossible for the people to rise, because of the regime's brutality is so unheard of and never seen before in human history. And this is why only way North Korea at this point is crumbling is we gotta stop China helping the regime. Otherwise, it becomes very unlikely. Unless entire North Korean population saying like, okay, kill us all right now, so you have nobody else to rule. Otherwise, if you don't want that to happen, like you gotta like make the better government. Maybe if 25 million people get a telepathy one day and then they're gonna all do the same thing and they are willing to die all together at the same time. Unless that happens, it's very unlikely, because North Korea's regime standard of success is keeping 10% of population alive, only in Pyongyang. So even the 90% of population all get killed, brutally, all get murdered, Kim Jong-un still gonna think that's a successful reign. As long as he has a guarantee to keep the 10% alive, he is willing to kill the 90% of population. And this is why he doesn't feed his people in this 21st century. Like, we don't get it right. The country has capability to make the hydrogen bomb, to like ICBM missiles, and then still cannot feed their people. It's a complete mystery. It's because of that. So even though 90% are gonna kill themselves, Kim Jong-un is not gonna change. And this is why it's so hopeless with this regime, is because they have unheard of like cruelty in them that we just never seen before. So let's see that. So oh my gosh, you guys, we've been talking for them more than an hour. I miss you guys so much. Like, I'm going on a short trip like the end of this week, and I'm coming back next week. So I wanted to see you and just tell you guys how I've been so grateful. And you know, this, I really hope that somehow somebody in Biden administration sees this and they understand what Kim Jong-un is doing and come up with a better policy that is a bit more long-term and not buying into terror. And also not just pursuing diplomacy in the sake of diplomacy. Please, like, I made this video about like, because if you say that you want war right now, right, you are the worst person in the world, because nobody wants war. And because of that, right now, imagine guys, we are with, like, Hitler is alive. He's putting Jewish people in the gas chambers and killing people and Jewish people. If the Hitler is alive right now at this point, do you think we're gonna say let's go to war to kill this most evil guy, or no? No, of course not. That's the thing, like, people always say they know better afterwards because you have luxury to look at back. But right now, we are having the same problem. The Hitler is alive, and everybody's saying, I don't want to be a bad guy causing the war, so let's be okay with it. Let's have a conversation with him. And of course, that's not the right way to deal with the complete evil. And it's so frustrating that Biden was criticizing Trump to having a diplomacy for the sake of diplomacy, and he's trying to pursue the exact same thing with North Korea. And of course, I know that Biden's not gonna serve North Korea. Even within 8 years, with his policy, he will not serve North Korea. And then what we are gonna end up in the 8 years time, with North Korea has a capability that can actually really harm America, then we gotta put up with North Korea for the rest of our lives and be censored by dictator. That's literally when the Sony, the studio made the movie, The Interview, right? Kim Jong-un said like, oh, Kim Jong-un said we're gonna blow up America, so don't show the movie. And American movie theaters dropped the movie. And it's gonna be more like that. We gotta listen to what North Korea says in America if we are letting North Korea keep going in this direction. So I'm sorry, I'm keep like not being able to answer all your questions. So Lori, thank you. I know it's like I thought about moderation, but let me see. I'm so far. I just want you guys see what I'm dealing with. So this is like, right, like a lot of people say like, oh, why you never see my messages? Like, because I never get them, because I'm like bombarded these trolleys with sending me stuff, like unbelievable things that I see the worst of humanity, but I also see the best of humanity doing this. And this is like a real world. Like there are so many forces in the world that wants to take our freedom away, that take our rights away. And this is a true battle between Marxists, true battle with authoritarianism, with the free world, that people trying to censor you, trying to silence you. And this is what I think. So many people fighting for freedom, that the freedom that I have, they fought for it. That's why I'm free today. But if we stop doing this fight, we are going to lose in this battle. Like you guys see this firsthand, like how unbelievable dedicated they are. They never get deterred. It's just, I cannot believe like how these people are so dedicated to make the world a hell, like North Korea, the Hermit Kingdom. It's like these people like Kim Jong-un is the best. Like, oh my gosh. And this is the thing. This is a true warfare, the cyber warfare that we don't see. And I just hope that they really hope that the freedom that you have is not gonna be there if you don't fight for it. You might not have it next year. So Marley, thank you so much. I thank you, Mary. I think I'm gonna answer maybe last 2 more questions, and I'm gonna cook some pasta for dinner today. Let me know what you're gonna do for today, guys. It's a great big blue waves. Do you plan to do any meetups in Korea? I do love if you do a book signing or meetup in Daegu or Seoul. You're awesome, and thank you. Thank you so much. I would want to do meetups, guys. I really, really do. But as you just have seen these trolleys, when I go to like events, because like there are so many threats, they have to have guns there to protect me. And it is unbelievable. Like, what am I saying is that threatening that I have to be protected with the guns in America? I'm grateful for the police and all those people protecting me. It is, of course, like in here right now, like 99% of you are wonderful, but there are always people who are so destructive, and they're the loudest. So I really want to keep thinking how I can create a safe place that we can do the in-person meetups, and I am sure that they will come. But yeah, I do want to do that. I really want to do like meet up you guys, and like maybe I can make you guys order some like Korean, like North Korean food and kimchi. I never say I'm good at something, but this one thing I'm good at. I'm really good at making one of North Korean dishes. 2 of them actually. One cucumber kimchi and one is North Korea's like hamburger without meat, just with tofu and rice. I really want you guys to taste of my country too. The sad thing about being a North Korean is that because only like over like 200 of us throughout America, there's no North Korean restaurant. Like if you're South Korean, if you're Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, you can go eat your food in America. But because I'm so little of us here, there's no restaurant for us to go to. And that is the only thing I cannot like spread our food and our tradition. Because like North Korean food is very good for vegetarians and vegans, because we don't afford meat. A lot of our cuisines are just like vegetarian and vegan. I think it's gonna be a huge hit in Brooklyn, where tons of vegans are there. So one last question. Let's see. Okay, the questions are going up so unbelievably fast. Let's see. So. which question should I be answering? The last one. So if, this is interesting, so Jake asked, if you somehow got a few seconds on the big screen in Pyongyang, what would you tell your people? Because I've been like, my videos has been going into North Korea actually lately. I thought about it, what would I tell them? Because like, as I said, brainwashing North Koreans took 30 generations, right? It took like almost 80 years. What would it be taking only if I get a few seconds to break that lie that was built for almost 1 century by the system? It's an impossible task. But if I ever do that, I think I'm gonna tell them, like, you are loved. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna tell them. Like, you are loved. Because when you're North Korean, you never ever hear that as a human. Because love word is not allowed for us to use as a humans to another. Like, only way when we know how to use it, when we describe our feelings towards dictator. And love is something so powerful thing. It's so transcends everything, that in North Korean people, when they hear they are loved for the first time, like I remember when I was in, like, it still like tears me up, in Qingdao, like in China, when I was like rescued by missionaries. They were going to help me to go to South Korea, and I took this bus and train, long journey from Shenyang to Qingdao, and in this shelter where I was going to be learning Bible, and then once I become Christian, I was going to go to Mongolia and then South Korea. I remember it was like maybe 7 a.m. in the morning. We sat down on the floor, and this Korean ethnic Chinese, she sang this song to me for the first time. I know some South Koreans are here, like they might know this word, like 당신은 사랑받기 위해 태어난 사람, like this song. So it's like, you're born to be loved. You're born because you should be loved, and like the Jesus loves you. And in the first second, I was like, what the heck, like you love me? Like I was born to be loved, because I never knew what I love you meant. And then something about it just made me get like, there's something that I never knew before. And if that's the only what I'm gonna get to talk to my people in Pyongyang, I think that's what I'm gonna tell them, and then they will realize their worth as a human. Because when you are being in that system, they never let you know your worth as a human being. This is like what breaks my heart the most, is that like we don't think our lives are worth anything more than animals, because they don't even tell us what the human rights are, right? Here when you're born in this freedom, they constantly telling you what your worth are as a human. But not in North Korea. They keep telling the worth of the party and revolution and the ideology and socialism. That's every single day they tell you. But I think if I tell them the worth of being a human and why it has to be cherished, why it has to be loved, I think the North Korean people will realize, and they're gonna fight with their life for their freedom and their people's freedom and their children's freedom. So I always love this Q&As with you. It's quite wild. We all just have people, trolleys, everything, but I try my best to be honest. I try my best to be real. I try to be truthful. When I was reading this book by Dr. Jordan Peterson, in the 12 Rules for Life, one of the rules is, I speak your truth, no matter what. If you speak your truth, every one of us does that. That actually might make the world a better place, because sometimes truth is hurtful, it's hateful, it can be offensive, but ultimately what matters in life is always the truth. And that is what I am doing with all I can with my heart, like telling you the truth, that what I think is true. And I'm grateful that you're letting me have that space, and also helping North Korean voice to be heard in this world, because we not that many of us are here. And thank you for giving me that space and platform, because like even this YouTube channel, guys, like without you right now, this like now 709 people, right? Without you joining this chat, like this account is gonna be account. It's never gonna be anything other than that. So I only exist, and my only voice can exist because of you. And that's how much also power you have and I have, all of us have, to make the other person being heard and to their voice to be exist in this world. So thank you guys for joining me, and I'm sorry again for that I wasn't able to answer all your questions, and I wasn't even close to that. So I'm very sorry. And thank you for asking all those insightful questions and supporting my people and freedom in North Korea. I cannot wait to see you guys next time. And while that time, I hope that you guys have a wonderful week and have a wonderful evening and day wherever you are. I love you with all my heart. I really truly do love you guys so much. And I'm thankful for you. I cannot wait to see you next time. Bye guys, everyone. Love you. Bye bye.